Mosley, hoping it's just for one, and Denver trying to stop Cleveland and make him kick a three.
This Browns offense spreads you out so far that they can run effectively in a passing situation. That's exactly what happens here. The Broncos just barely able to stop Mack on the 2-yard line. They'll have one more shot at it before they try the field goal, or maybe they might elect to gamble as Reeves did at the other end. Let's wait and see.
Kosar had to throw it away, and a flag goes with it.
He's called Rulon Jones for roughing the quarterback.
Is he doing that, or is he calling intentionally grounding the ball?
I saw Rulon grab his head.
No, he's calling it against Kosar.
Ah, okay. Rulon thought he'd been called for roughing the quarterback. The official has the option. If he just believes that ball is thrown to kill it, to kill the down, then he's going to throw the flag.
He knew he had no one open and wasn't very clever about disguising that throw.
Keep that moving, and let's see. Well, we can see that Rulon Jones did bump into Kosar after the fact, but that not drawing the flag.
Here comes Mosley to try to tie it with 25 seconds left in the half. Lost it down on that penalty, so the kicking team on. Mosley, of course, missed a short one in overtime that could have beaten the Jets last week, and then got a second chance and connected. This one will be 29 yards. We've got a new game. This drive to tie it on the field goal by Mosley was the pass by Kosar to Clarence Weathers for 42 yards. It's 10-10 with 20 seconds remaining in the first half. NFL 86. Glad to have our entire gang with us here in Cleveland. They'll be entertaining you at halftime and have the highlights. Don Shula's comments about the first half. And this game, very much like the one that you saw here in NBC last weekend here in Cleveland when it was 10-10 at halftime. Ken Bell, Gene Lang at the 10. Mosley has the advantage of the prevailing breeze that has not been the factor we thought it might. He skips it down to one of the up linemen, Mike Freeman. And he carries it out to the 40-41 yard line with 16 seconds left. Elway's got a chance for a couple of big plays and maybe a field goal chance for Denver.
Reeves is not afraid to gamble. You saw him go on 4th down close to the end zone.
You saw him raise 4 fingers, say 4 wide. So they're going to go with
probably a Hail Mary type pass, looking for a potential penalty or a potential catch downfield that with still having time to throw the field or to kick the field goal.
Cleveland loosening their deep defense. They're back at the 45-yard line. And now Ellis moves 20 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Elway underneath. Clint Sampson ducking out of bounds at the 49 of Cleveland. That'll be a first down. Just over 10 yards on the play. They use 6 seconds. So there's 10 seconds left for Denver.
An option now to perhaps try and get another pattern to the sideline.
They have a couple of timeouts left, so they can even go down the middle and call a quick timeout.
It's sometimes difficult, though, Dick, to get that timeout called and get it stopped.
Going to replace the football. Elway with a new nugget. Down the middle, incomplete, right through the hands of Vance Johnson. So Jackson and Johnson have both dropped Elway passes, but in fairness to them, in this cold weather, the way Elway drills that ball, he really tests your dexterity.
We talked about that velocity maybe working against him, and as we get later in the day, it's going to get colder. That could continue to be a factor, maybe even be a greater factor late in the game. Elway with timeout because of the incompleted pass. 5 seconds on the clock.
And that is the end of the first half. Denver 10, Cleveland 10. Neither would get an A in the first half.
Well, you give Kosar an A for effort. I mean, he's went out and tried to do some things. He's been intercepted 3 times, but he's also moved the team. John has not done much, but he's not been intercepted. His one big contribution was the big scramble. And we said going in that his mobility is a factor. But as you said, you know, defense wins championships. It's, you know, all the history we have in this place. It should be this way. You know, the offense takes the back seat. The defense steps forward.
We heard Paul McGuire say, well, Cleveland has to feel good and Denver has to come up with something. What do you think they might come up with in the second half to move the ball better?
Well, I think they have to come out and try to get the ball to some other people other than their 2 wide receivers. Minifield and Dixon has been doing a good job of slowing down their wide receivers. Maybe, you know, theirs is a gimmick offense. They've had gimmick plays all year, and I'm sure that Dan Reese has got some of those that he may be saving for the second half.
And they usually do save those for the second half, don't they?
They do, Dick. In fact, talking to Marty Schottenheimer, he said Denver has every trick play or gimmick play known to mankind, and we haven't seen any of them here in the first half. I think we'll definitely see some of those. I think that Cleveland was a little close to the vest offensively in the first half. I think we're going to see them come out of their shell a little bit. They're not afraid to take some risk, too.
I know one thing that Schottenheimer's not going to use. That's that 10-man defense.
He doesn't want to go to that one.
Well, I think you have a tendency to start off a championship game a little bit conservative. But 10-10 at halftime, I don't think you're going to see anybody holding anything back the second half.
All right, let's look at the numbers, the official statistics in the first half. And the time of possession, the first down, even though Denver had the ball 3 extra times because of those 3 turnovers, look at time of possession. When they got it, they couldn't move it or keep it.
They really had difficulty. And, of course, I talked about control of the line of scrimmage. Nobody gives you that in the second half because you had it in the first half. And I could remind you that last week Denver came out in the second half after not running well in the first half and did a good job of establishing a running game. I think they're going to have to try and do that here again today.
Well, more than half their rushing total of the first half was on Elway's 33-yard scramble. Let's look at the 2 quarterbacks. Elway throwing only 13 times. No mistakes, but no touchdowns. 7 for 13, but he did have a couple of drops on well-thrown balls. While Bernie Kosar, busier, not quite as busy as last week when he set the record with 64 attempts, but 11 for 21, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, and a couple more that could have been picked off. Denver will get the ball first.
Denver will have, excuse me, Dick, Denver will have the wind as well. The Browns opting to take the wind in the 4th quarter.
And for Denver, you don't want to be behind going into that 4th quarter. They must find some productivity offensively in this quarter. Ken Bell, boy, that ball playing tricks. And Bell is able to recover at the 8-yard line. And I'll tell you, that D.D. Hoggart can fly. He can flat out sprint. And he was down there in a hurry.
This ball looks like a knuckleball as it comes down. Bell tries to pick it up. He should have just covered that. He's lucky that that ball didn't get away as Hoggart went for the head, took him down.
He can run the 60 and 6 flat.
I believe it.
D.D. William Benjamin, thank you, Hoggart. And Elway starts in the hole. Sammy Winder for a couple. Eddie Johnson with a tackle. And that's the dog pound end of Cleveland Stadium, where they're really going to make it tough on Elway. They're barking in there. They're barking.
They are howling down there. It would appear that
2nd and 7. Wide open is Vance Johnson. What a move. He put a big leg move on Hanford Dixon, out of bounds at the 24, first down.
Put a camera in John Elway's back pocket and watch him pick out an open Vance Johnson. And I think if Vance had stayed to the outside and just blown downfield, he might have been able to pick up a few more, but you're right. That was a classic. That's almost a basketball move.
16 yards on the play. Winder, as you saw them bring Mobley, the big tight end, in motion for that wham block. Bob Golick, number 79, submarining with a tackle. Golick, who grew up in the Cleveland area, on his way to the Pro Bowl. He's really a wonderful character, a linebacker cut by New England, found a home as a nose tackle. He said, if I weren't playing, I would be here as a fan, and you know what? I'd probably dye my beard orange. I'd be one of the guys in the pound. Flag down. Watson working against Minifield. And we'll see against whom the push was.
We might have an offensive interference. They're both pushing and shoving as they're nailing each other down on the offensive line of scrimmage, too. Clay Matthews at the bottom of that stick. A few words being exchanged. Will Height.
Penalty is against Cleveland, apparently.
Matthews tried a knee right there on Will Height. Ooh, and then tries to kick, stuttered.
Pass interference, defense, number 31, first down.
He's lucky an official wasn't on that. They'd have thrown him out of the game for that kind of thing.
You're talking about Matthews, not Minifield.
Talking about Clay Matthews. Matthews angry because he was held, and he was being held, but you don't kick at somebody and try and knee somebody for that.
There's 57. There's one kick there. And there was another also. First down at the 45, a 17-yard penalty. Winder. Boy, he was rocked. Chip Banks in on another tackle for the Cleveland Browns. And Eddie Johnson following it up.
You talked about Bob Golick on the inside clogging things up. We remember one of his first games here. He came here as a reject linebacker out of New England, 235 pounds. They put him in at nose tackle and said, give it a try. He just went in there and earned himself a job. Worked his way up to 250. I said, what do you remember about that? He said, Twinkies.
Ooh, Elway trouble. And there will not be grounding, although the fans want it. There was a receiver in the area. Clay Matthews taunting one of the Broncos again.
He's taunting Clarence Kay, number 88, downfield. Elway's mobility certainly affected more than I think we expected because of that ankle. He's not moving nearly as quickly. Noted for his quick feet. Not as quick as he has been in the past by far.
Third and between 8 and 9. Denver's only 1 for 7 on third down conversions.
Look out.
Who did not play football at the University of Pittsburgh, was a basketball rebounder. In fact, he left the school as the all-time record holder, has the first sack of the game for Cleveland after the 9 they registered against the Jets last week. Slam bam, Sam Clancy. McNeil waiting for Horan's kick. And that one's going to go out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Elway's got good eyes, but none in the back of his helmet.
And he waits too long. 91. Sam Clancy from the backside. He gets better all the time. Levels Elway. Carl Hairston there to apply.
Last sack of Elway. Look downfield what Cleveland is doing. Look at the tight man-to-man coverage. These two safeties are just there to help out anything short. It was a coverage sack on Elway, and obviously good defense by the Cleveland secondary.
And Merlin does a good defense fire up the offense. Cleveland has the ball now.
There's no question about it, Dick. The psyche of a team can be altered by great plays on the offensive or the defensive side. When your defense goes out there and attacks like that, that'll get you pumped up offensively.
This whole city is full of adrenaline. Ball at the 21-yard line. Cleveland Stadium, this ancient jewel along the lakefront on a wintry January afternoon. Boy, that's the way it was played in the good old days, they tell you, here in Cleveland, when Graham and Motley and Gillum was doing the kicking, and later would be Frank Ryan and Leroy Kelly and Jim Brown. Great heritage here.
There are a lot of ghosts here, and you know, we've talked a lot today, Dick, about the contrasts of this game. There's some contrast too with the game that's going to be played later.
Judge will keep the 30 seconds on the field.
The 30-second clocks are not functioning. So lights out for the 30, and that makes it a little tougher on the quarterback. He can't come up under center and read those final seconds.
Can't take as much time, can't take the chances.
Kosar into the wind here in the third. And it figures they'll try to run it. Kevin Mack. And he has a first down.
Dick, when I talked to Cleveland's offense, I talked to Kosar, talked to Infante, talked to Marty Schottenheimer. Every one of them said the first thing we have to do on offense is know where Carl Mecklenburg is and control Mecklenburg. They have really done a good job of that here today. A high percentage of the time, they are audibling on the line of scrimmage, and they are taking the action away from Mecklenburg, not giving him a chance to make the big plays.
That was Paul Farron putting the block on Mecklenburg. A 13-yard gain. Fontenot to the 39-yard line. Dennis Smith with a tackle. Kosar wearing that number 19, and boy, you think about 19 in Cleveland if you're a baseball fan. Another pretty good thrower performed on this field. Bob Feller wore that number for the Cleveland Indians. Second and 4.5. Who fumbled in the first half, protecting the football, and will be shy by about a yard of a first down. Well, the way they're marking it, it might be pretty close.
I think it's going to be a little shy, Dick. One of the things that the Browns have done today is to close up the gaps in their offensive line a little bit. Try and give Denver likes to work the corners. They like to work the angles. And by closing up those gaps and coming off aggressively, they've been able to catch a good piece of those offensive linemen, not let them slip through those gaps.
Almost wedge-like blocking, just straight ahead.
Like snow plows coming out.
Yeah, they're in tight on this 3rd and 1. Oh, my! Tom Jackson shooting through to make the tackle. And that will be short of the first down as the veteran Jackson makes the play.
Tom Jackson has always been at his best in the big play, in the big games, and seems to find a way to make that kind of play. You see the line slanting again, and they found the gap. That's the kind of thing they like to do, the quick moves laterally to find an opening. Jackson just popped through an opening and nailed his man in the backfield.
Gerald Wilhite back at the 15. Gossett into the wind. Beautiful kick. Too good. And when we return, it'll be Denver, and this fans rooting for the Browns. And if you're a Browns fan, but you can't get a ticket, well, you go sailing. Why not? Show factor's only 8. That's just outside the stadium. Denver from its 20. Winder. Good piece of running by Sammy Winder as it begins to snow once again. A pickup of about 7. Ray Ellis, who played at Ohio State, made the tackle. He was a valuable acquisition by Cleveland this year. In the first game of the season at Chicago, starting safety Al Gross went down and Ellis was available. The Eagles didn't want him, and he was just sitting there waiting for a phone call. And he's been not just a player, he's been a contributor.
He certainly has. Anthony Griggs, also one of Buddy's rejects, starting linebacker in there.
Mobley can't hang on, and a flag is down. That'll carry a first down for Denver.
Illegal contact, number 59 on the defense. 5 yards, first down.
Mike Johnson is 59.
Johnson, who will see some action for Eddie Johnson, number 51, at the bottom of the screen right there. And that's beyond the 5-yard zone, and I'm sure it's just illegal contact, but looked like he was run into rather than doing the running into.
5-yard penalty, first down.
Now they're going to say that Clarence Kay moved, but Clarence Kay is a tight end. He's entitled to move. I think that may go against the defense.
Reggie Camp, 96, charging through. Clarence Kay, those of you who were with us at the start know that Kay has been missing for over a month. The drug rehabilitation program, rejoining the club and activated yesterday. A blocker. He's signed up because they need his strength.
Defense, 5 yards.
You were right, Merlin.
The reason that Dan Reeves, one of the reasons that Reeves activated Kay, is that he wanted to be able to run effectively today. Even that activation has not helped them to dominate the line of scrimmage like they must if they're going to get the running game going.
First and 5. Well, Kay becomes the receiver and has a first down at the 44 on a 7-yard play. He's from Georgia, blocked for Herschel Walker with the Dogs.
I got to believe that the Broncos are very proud of the fact that he has done as well as he has over the last month. He wouldn't be here unless they were very confident of his progress.
It's tied at 10. 9.5 minutes left in the third quarter. A pump fake and a throw to Mobley. And had he caught it, he would not have been in bounds anyway. Chris Rockins, number 37 on the play. With a name like that, you should be a football player. Mobley, a baseball player throughout high school. In fact, was drafted by the Montreal Expos going up for that high fly, but unable to pull it down. To the 50, where Anthony Griggs and Mike Johnson made the tackle. 5 yards on the play for Winder from southern Mississippi.
Well, is it time for one of those trick plays we talked about?
No trick about that. Just stay warm.
That's a trick on a day like today.
Steve Sewell, who is involved in a lot of the gadget plays, is in the backfield with Elway. Throwing for Jackson, intercepted by Mark Harper. They say he was out of bounds.
You think they've got enough Cleveland players around that official? They want to give him a little help. They put Jackson man-to-man on the third wide receiver. In this case, it's Mark. They put Mark Jackson, that's Harper, man-to-man on Mark Jackson, and he covered him just in his pocket all the way to the sideline.
Let's see it from another angle. From that angle, it appeared his knees were down. From this angle,
one knee down and then a shoulder out of bounds. I think he's got to get both down, doesn't he? One knee or 2 feet. They might review that one. They are reviewing that one.
We've got another look.
It's 2 feet, but if he gets a knee down.
1, 2. He's got an interception from that angle, I believe.
After instant replay, look. The pass was intercepted by Cleveland. It's first down.
That was Cleveland owner Art Modell. In his box at the mezzanine level, Marty Schottenheimer's defense has the first turnover for Cleveland on a very fine play by Mark Harper.
Harper just absolutely climbing into the pocket of that receiver and then being there to take that football away from him.
Art Modell, 26 years, the owner of the Browns, looking for his first trip to a Super Bowl. Cleveland starts at the 31. And Kosar going for a big one. And overshoots Webster Slaughter with Mike Harden on the coverage. Well, that was a little piece of history. The first time in championship history in the National Football League that the instant replay has changed a decision. And Mark Harper will be part of that trivia from Alcorn State. Tell you what, those fellas know where the cameras are, don't they? Fontenot, good play by Steve Wilson, whose dad, Touchdown Tommy Wilson, used to battle with the Cleveland Browns of yore. His dad playing with the Los Angeles Rams. Steve dropping the ball carrier for a loss of a yard. Ozzie Newsome, who has a consecutive string alive, well over 100, but has not caught a pass today, although those count only in regular season games anyway. But nevertheless, Ozzie has been quiet.
He's been playing hurt a good part of the year. He's a marvelous weapon. That hurts this Cleveland Brown offense.
3rd and 11. And Kosar had to throw it away. Webster Slaughter thought he was interfered with. I believe the official ruling that was not a catchable ball. Well, he was looking back at the ball, and that Slaughter had already slipped anyway. Oh, Denver's defense is tough, and at the midpoint of the 3rd quarter, tied at 10-all, Gossett to punt. Wilhite back for Denver. Wilhite takes a gamble and is down at the 30-yard line. 7 minutes and 18 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. At our study, Jack Reeder, gentleman on the left, made the call, and that reminds us of a day in '78. It was an unhappy New Year's Day for the Raiders because Rob Lidle of Denver in the championship game, hit by Jack Tatum, fumbled, but no one saw it. And so Denver kept the ball, scored the touchdown, and went to the Super Bowl against Dallas. But the instant replay was not in effect then. It was today. And the Browns awarded the interception, could not move the ball. Now Elway on a draw and a winder. A gain of a couple. Chip Banks. He's had a big game defensively. Banks, number 56.
Reeves coming right out, trying to get something going with the running game. Pounding and pounding at that Cleveland front, but can't find any holes in that front wall.
Like a fighter, he can't hit his opponent. Elway over the middle. Clarence Kay stabs it at the 47. A first down. Banks on the coverage, wondering how in the world did he pull that one down. 15 yards on the play.
You've got to believe that that's not his first target. In fact, let's watch his head. See where he's looking. He looked right first and then back to the left side. Sees the open man, Kay, and delivers him the football.
6 minutes remaining in the third period. Denver with a first down near midfield. Elway, less yards. Each man has been intercepted. Nothing distinctive about those stats. Winder, you know, he's not spectacular, but boy, you go back to that expression, bread and butter back. Winder, you get all he'll give you.
In order to get up inside, you've got to move that nose tackle. And they got Bob Golick out of there on that particular play and got some yardage. They have not been able to do that earlier in this game. They did it on that play.
Other than Elway's scramble, that's the longest run of the day, 7 yards. And 7 more and a first down. Clay Matthews made the tackle. Make that 9 yards on that carry.
Looking back inside, Winder will start up straight inside and then veer to the outside. And Sam Clancy is pulled inside by Studdard. A good block on the outside on the linebacker, Clay Matthews. And Winder has the first down.
At the Cleveland 37. Wilhite for a couple. Sam Clancy turned the play in, and Anthony Griggs made the stop.
One of the first people that Marty Schottenheimer added to his staff was Dave Adolph, the man he made his defensive coordinator. Marty's done a great job, I think, of delegating responsibilities. You see Adolph in the brown jacket there on the left. They love him here in Cleveland. He's done a great job with this defense.
Close to another Denver first down. He's got it at the Cleveland 26-yard line, and a flag is down back where Elway threw the ball. I believe he got roughing against Cleveland.
You don't want to get the extra penalty after the first down. Ball cleanly gone 2, 3, 4 steps.
Roughing the passer.
Mark Gastineau had a penalty last week late in the game that kept a Cleveland drive alive when they should have been punting, and that really was provoked some thank yous from the Cleveland Browns.
That just looked like carelessness to me, Dick. It looked like he just wasn't careful with where he was going. Didn't deliver a punishing blow, but you got to stay off that quarterback.
That marks it inside the 15-yard line. Winder again. He's been busy. Has a block. And rolled out of bounds at the 11-yard line by Chris Rockins. It appeared that Camp just kind of ran helmet to helmet on Elway.
He had plenty of time to adjust his course and get out of the way. Instead of doing it, watch him now, number 96, coming from the top of your screen. Notice how long after the throw, Elway just watching and standing there, and there's the shot. I'd think he could have stepped aside a couple of steps before.
Second down, 8. Winder. A simple play. Took that Gene Lang, made the catch. Lang had to turn completely around to make that catch and still keep his feet under him and make a pretty good gain out of it.
Elway reading the blitz. They were coming with an all-out blitz. He had to go to the outlet man. But watch the play you mentioned, Dick. The ball poorly thrown by Elway. Lang goes around and then beats Mike Johnson, 59, for a couple of extra yards down the sideline.
Well, at the 9-yard line, they have to get inside the 4 for a first down. Wide open is Wilhite, and Johnson knocked it down. Mike Johnson almost intercepted.
And it looks like Wilhite may be hurt down in the end zone.
Elway was trying to get it to Wilhite, and when the ball was knocked down, the man defending may have cracked Wilhite.
Trainer Steve Antonopoulos out very quickly, and Wilhite is up off the ground. Here's the pass by Elway, and had that ball not been knocked down, it might well have been caught. Wilhite hurt last week. His shoulder is injured then, but it looks like he's grabbing his leg there.
Timeout. Denver in a field goal situation. Gerald Wilhite is okay. He will return, and now Rich Carlos will attempt a 27-yard field goal to give Denver the lead. Carlos, the barefooted kicker. Talk about cold feet on a freezing day. Carlos from an angle. And Denver leads 13-10. Officially a 26-yard field goal that culminates a drive that started back at the 30 of Denver.
Wilhite, but the spy right here, who is spying on Elway, knocked it down.
A man that's moving with Elway will mirror all of his moves, able to read Elway's eyes and get up and knock that ball down. A very big play.
Chip Banks has been the spy most of the game, but that particular play with a pass situation, Mike Johnson was the man who almost intercepted. And now Carlos will kick it off for Denver with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in the third. He scuffed that one, and Fontenot takes it at the 17, 30, flag down, 45, all the way to the 50, but they're going to call it back. Illegal use of the hands against Cleveland at the 27-yard line will nullify what was an excellent return by Herman Fontenot, as Carlos actually hit the ground before he hit the ball with that bare foot. All right, your feelings. We're really, this thing is building this game into some nice drama with so much importance on it, and one play could break it either way. Your thoughts?
Dick, I have a sense that Denver has come back and done a better job on the line of scrimmage. They were able to get some good runs going here in this second half, but again, it was a Cleveland mistake that helped to set up those last points, and that's the story for Cleveland today. They have really played the better game of the two teams. They've made a lot of mistakes to keep Denver in this game.
The home field advantage is still with Cleveland, and the fans, they've got to do something to create the momentum back to themselves.
Well, the fans haven't quit. It's been a din from the very opening moments. Now Cleveland deep in its own end, and it's Kosar to Mack. They're starting with the penalty from the 17, so Mack picks up 3 or 4 on that first down carry. Browns, and you see how Kosar likes to use those backs. 9 receptions by running backs, where Denver, Elway, no bias. Wide receiver, running back, tight end. And Ozzie Newsome, the big target tight end for Cleveland, without a reception. 4 wide wide receivers in now for Cleveland. Slaughter to the 40. Carrying that shoulder awkwardly as Webster Slaughter after a gain of 20.
Quick pass. Kosar back. Does not waste any time at all. And Slaughter put a real fine move on it. Might have hurt his shoulder as he dipped down to catch his balance. Footing a little bit treacherous. A lot of sand in that field out there.
That was his first catch of the day. 1:06 left, third quarter. Denver 13, Cleveland 10. There he is, the Wizard of Oz. No, it isn't. It's Langhorne, Reggie Langhorne. I thought at first it was Newsom. Langhorne another first down at the 38, 22 yards.
Is he throwing it back to the quarterback? No, that's from the other side of the field. As you see, Langhorne breaking to the sideline, and a perfect strike again by Kosar. His accuracy very high on that play.
Into the wind with less than a minute left in the third quarter. Mack. Nothing there. Tom Jackson. Jim Ryan with a tackle.
Webster Slaughter, one of the key people. They're asking him about that shoulder. They obviously will not put him back into the ball game if he is seriously injured, but they need him. He is a very important part of that offensive game plan.
Brown's physicians talking with Slaughter. 2nd and 10. Kevin Mack has a first down for Cleveland at the Denver 27.
Words being exchanged between Ernest Biner and Louis Wright on that last play. But again, it's the running game that begins to sparkle for the Browns here. Something they did better than the Broncos were able to in the first half. Ernest Biner in as a blocker on this play, working on Louis Wright. And watch the action between those two. Now they come back and talk nose to nose right here at the end of the play. Hey, you want some more? Come and see me. I'll take it.
14 seconds left in the period. Mack again to the 20-yard line. Another good pickup on first down. 7 yards at the end of the third quarter. We'll be back after these minutes. We now go to the final act of the season for one of these two teams, the Browns and the Broncos. Denver leads 13-10. Cleveland has the ball in field goal range. 2nd and 3. The winner 2 weeks from today will play in Pasadena. 80,000 fans at Cleveland Stadium. Watch Kosar give to Mack again. And he's got a first down. Steve Foley made the tackle, and Kevin Mack. And the tradition of these Cleveland Browns, always with great runners. That's Webster Slaughter. Dr. John Bergfeld examining that collarbone or the shoulder. Here's how he was injured.
I think it's when he goes down on that shoulder as he was tackled, and you see him come up holding that arm to his side.
First down at the 14. Mack sliding through for 3 or 4 yards. Carl Mecklenburg gets him to the worn turf. perfect record will be challenged by the Browns, who have it 2nd down and 7. On this drive, Kevin Mack has carried the ball the last 5 plays.
But this is where the Broncos defense is toughest, with their back against the wall.
6 straight plays. Mack trying to pick his way. Simon Fletcher, Lewis Wright on the tackle, and Rulon Jones. It'll be 3rd and 3.
In Cleveland, they talked this year about the change from Marty Ball to Bernie Ball, from the running game to the throwing game. But today, we've seen a lot of Marty Ball, a lot of the running game.
Kicker picked up by the Browns in late season when their kicker Matt Barr was injured. Mosley cut earlier this season by the Redskins, acquired by Cleveland. Mosley has his mind in 2 places today, primarily here, of course, and then after this game we'll be rooting for his former teammates against the Giants.
He had a lot of thinking to do last week as he missed a sure field goal, a short one. There are those who question whether he's able to get that out of his mind. A pressure field goal here for Mosley, a chance to put his team in a tie.
It's only a 25-yard attempt. He kicked one from 29 in the 2nd quarter. This would tie the game with 12 minutes plus remaining. Have to go back to the granddaddies to tell you stories about the excitement in this town, Cleveland, Ohio, back in '48 when the Indians won the pennant World Series. The younger kids don't remember that joy. Gene Lang, short of the 20. Major Everett made the tackle, number 39.
T.D. Hogarth right there with him, and that's one place that these special teams for the Browns have been shining today on coverage. They are flying down the field.
Denver's defense doing a solid job of stopping Cleveland from taking the lead after that impressive march by Kosar and the Browns. Game is tied at 13, 12.5 minutes left. Lang into a crowd at the 23.
There is some monstrous hitting going on down there. Carl Big Daddy Hairston, number 78. The leader of that defense. He's the guy that keeps them pumped. Says he leads more by his performance than by hollering and yelling.
He knows of the Super Bowl experience with the Eagles, Super Bowl 15. Incomplete to Mobley. Chip Banks was close. He's the man, of course, who held out during the summer training period, didn't sign his contract until the first game where the Bears hardly had any practice at all and played against Chicago after making rather disparaging remarks about both the owner and the coach here in Cleveland.
Well, it's been a year of overcoming injuries, holdouts, missing players. They've done a lot of that here in Cleveland this year.
3rd down and 6. That's going to be close. I don't think he got enough yardage.
He's short. He had to come back to that football as it was thrown low and away, and I don't think he's got the first down.
Chris Rockin securing him, and the punting team comes on. So on 4th and 1, Denver will have to give up the ball. Cube moving up, anticipating the wind will knock down Moran's punt. To the 41-yard line where Darren Como makes the tackle. Timeout, 10 minutes, 45 seconds left. Surfboard reminder that it's Pasadena, the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. 10 minutes, 45 seconds left. Kosar is sacked at the 38, the first Broncos sack. Rulon Jones, Andre Townsend were there.
Sacks a big part of last week's win by both teams. 6 sacks by Denver on New England. Pressure on Easton, of course, the safety by that man, Rulon Jones, perhaps the biggest play of the game because it shut the door on New England. 9 sacks in the game by Cleveland's defense, but right now it's Kosar with the opportunity. 2nd and 13.
Every play so very precious. No room for error.
Well, I got to get myself. I didn't hire. I got to get a crowd. I can't do it.
Underneath to Brennan to the 49. 2 yards shy of a first down. Dennis Smith with a tackle.
Brennan is like that important 6th man off the bench, like Havlicek was for the Celtics. Marty Schottenheimer said, we don't think of big plays, we think of big play people. And Brian Brennan is the guy we go to in that kind of clutch situation.
Havlicek was a good example. He, of course, from Ohio State nearby and played at Boston where Brennan played. He was Doug Flutie's #1 target with Boston College.
He'll come to the sideline as there might be a run here as well as a pass. 3rd and short.
Mack doesn't make it at the 50. So the Bronco defense is tough on 4th and 1. And on comes the punting team for Cleveland.
But do you want to punt here? Do you want to go for it? I think they're going to go for it. I think Marty is saying, let's go for it.
Oh, boy, what a big decision that would be. If they don't make it, then Denver has the ball at the 50-yard line.
He's put the beef team, Dave Pazzoli. Pazzoli is on there. Pazzoli will be in the backfield.
Now, this may not be going for it. They may try to draw Denver offside. This is the situation where if you have a trick play to pull the other team offside, this might be it.
Well, let's give them a chance.
There it is. And dropping back, Cody Rison. Now, was he an eligible receiver? If he is the tight end, uncovered, then that's against Denver.
Now, the one thing he is not allowed to do is deliberately move in such a way as to pull them off.
False start, number 63, simulating the start of a play.
It backfires.
4th down.
To talk to the referee. I believe that Rison was uncovered. In other words, he was a tackle, but in a tight end position, in which case he can move, shift into the backfield.
He can move, Dick, but he is not allowed under the rules to simulate the start of the play and draw the defense offside. And I think that was the ruling by the official.
But that was the play that the Browns wanted to do.
Sure, that's designed to draw them offside. And now Marty is mad. He wants a timeout. And he's going to get it.
But that may not be the answer either, to call time here and waste an important timeout to make your point, because it won't matter. They're going to have to punt.
Cody Rison right at the top. Watch him as he jumps back right there. Now you're seeing that in slow motion, by the way. That's not at full speed.
And of course the instant replay is not going to be an ally for Schottenheimer, because that is not part of the jurisdiction of the instant replay. Now he has spent a timeout, which he may regret.
We got a lot of folks out on that field. A lot of conversation going on out there, but I don't think you're going to see the officials reverse themselves on that one.
43-year-old Schottenheimer, who was an All-American linebacker at the University of Pittsburgh and played in the old American Football League with Buffalo and Boston. And that apparently was a play designed by Cleveland to pull Denver offside. Just a shift by the tight end, and of course Denver took the bait. Your point is well taken, Merlin. If it is deemed a play designed to do that, then the officials are calling it against the offense. It worked last year when they tried it against the Giants. Great kick again by Gossett. Wilhite inside his 10, down at the 12.
He tripped. He lost his footing and tripped.
8 minutes, 34 seconds remain. Marty Schottenheimer, while we were away, was still after the officials. He wanted the 5 yards and a first down. Instead, he was penalized 5 yards.
And Dick, even if he's right, I don't think he wants to burn that kind of energy. They're not going to change the call. He needs to turn his energy back into the game. You don't want to get your team distracted from what they're doing on the field by arguing over a call.
He's already spent a timeout by arguing, and we'll see if that matters later. Winder. No distraction there, as the hit made after a short gain by Sam Clancy. The line judge ruled that that was a false start by Rison, and thus the 5-yard penalty. Now, the tight end, the man on the end, can move. He can lift his hand. He can shift. And that's what Rison was, a tight end. That's why Schottenheimer was angry. Of Steve Watson as Frank Minifield made the play.
They call him Mini. He's a mini giant right there with the ball, sticking a hand up inside. Elway, tremendous heat on Elway, has to throw it off balance. Anthony Griggs, 53 inside. And look at Minifield go inside on Watson to get his hands on that football and strip it away.
3rd and 9. There's a flag down. Oh, and that should be a penalty there against number 22, Felix Wright. Once the man goes down, you're not supposed to hit him, but it's going to be holding against Denver. So, against the wind, deep in your own end, the Broncos guilty of the foul, and Cleveland not called for this.
Offense, number 64, half the distance to the goal.
Well, he tried to avoid him. He
Tried to get off of him, but the critical mistake by Billy Bryant, the center, as he tried to make room for the quarterback draw, a play that Denver has used so effectively all year long. And there's Billy Bryant.
3rd and 15. Steve Sewell shy of the first down by about 2. Mark Harper made the tackle and is slow getting up. Boy, they're using all their bodies now, everything that's left.
It hurts so much more on a day like today. The body is just not flexible. And although Denver did not get the first down, they did get breathing room for Mike Horan.
But Cleveland, as they attend to Harper, should come up with excellent field position.
Steve Sewell running hard, and Harper goes in and twists. Looks like he may have twisted himself underneath.
Yeah, the collision on the tackle was with his head first. There you see, right into the body, and then the twist afterwards.
He's critical to that defensive plan. He's like a third cornerback that goes in man-to-man, but he looks like he may be all right.
Well, a young man who's really won the hearts of these Cleveland fans, Gerald McNeil, the Ice Cube, drops back to return. Mike Horan will kick from around his own 10-yard line.
Fourth quarter field position, a big plus for the Browns. They'll get another shot at it here if McNeil can bring anything back in the way of a return.
McNeil, the only NFL player to return both a punt and a kickoff for a touchdown this year from Baylor University. He's 5'7". Told me yesterday with his clothes on he weighs 142 pounds. If you're a champion of the little guy, boy, this man is out of place. What's he doing in this game at 142? He's a big play man. The intensity in those eyes. I don't know what the delay is for. 7:07 left in the game.
Maybe they got the 30-second clocks to work or something. It's been a strange day that way. We've stopped several times during the game.
Cleveland has 10 men on the line of scrimmage. McNeil at the 38. 45. And out of bounds at the 48. Cleveland's bench wanted a face mask. 44-yard punt, 10-yard return. Rick Dennison made the tackle.
It's right on the sideline, and you see Rick Dennison, number 55. Hard to tell whether he had the mask or the shoulder, but Bill Cowher, special teams coach, right there on the sideline, angry at the officials.
He thought it was at least a field goal. It's tied at 13, 6:40 left. Matt, incomplete. That is not a lateral, incomplete pass. Ricky Hundley for Denver on the play.
A lot of drop passes on this day. Mack taking his eye off of that ball, making a very simple mistake. Wanted to run with it before he caught it. We've seen drops on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Watch it as Kevin Mack decides to run before he catches this football. Watch him take his eye off the ball, look inside. You see him looking upfield? You got to catch the football first, Kev.
He is to the Denver 48-yard line. 4 yards on the play. It appeared that Kosar changed the play at the line of scrimmage, and some say that Wetmerlin, he'll change 60-70% of his calls.
In some games, 70 to 80% of the first and second down calls will be adjusted on the line by Kosar, who's not afraid to audible. Very bright in his application of Lindy Infante's offense. We saw his numbers on the day. Right now, he's looking for some points. He doesn't care how he gets them.
Brian Brennan, he's got it. With 5 minutes, 43 seconds left, Cleveland leads by 7.
We just talked about big play people. A one-on-one battle with Dennis Smith. Dennis knows he's lost him there, tries to recover, and misses the football. And then Brennan quickly able to get around him and into the end zone.
Well, Brennan makes a remarkable recovery to find the ball, much less catch it, and then spin away from Smith for a 48-yard touchdown play.
What did we say about looking for big play people, not big plays?
He likes to compare himself with Steve Largent. He said, that's my man, Largent of the Seahawks. Well, the man he admires most would have been proud of that play.
I'm wrong. I'm not me. I'm Mr. Michigan. Cleveland Browns.
He was a quarterback in high school in the Detroit area, so he knows both ends of that play. It took Kosar 57 seconds to go the 52 yards in 3 plays. And Brennan on third down comes up with a big catch, and now it'll be up to John Elway with 5:43 left.
Mistake by Gene Lang. If he lets that football go, it gets into the end zone. I think he panicked, Dick. He covered it on the 2-yard line and forces Elway and the offense to start way back on the 1.5-yard line. There's enough roll to that ball. If you let it go here, it'll get out. It's Ken Bell, 35. Lang just trying to help in there. But Bell just if you let it go and cover it in the end zone, you get it at the 20. He panicked, I think. He's a rookie. He has not been in this kind of big game before, and he tried to cover it at the 1.5-yard line.
Elway to Winder to the 7. A gain of 5. Mark Mosley at 38, the oldest man on the field, but boy, young and hard on that one.
And he kicked another one of those knuckleballs. So hard to handle, it just came down there like a knuckler.
Mosley, who kicked his 300th career field goal in Cleveland's final game. One of only 4 to do that. Now it's Elway, 2nd and 5. Winder to the 9, where it will be 3rd and 3. Reggie Camp made the tackle.
Camp had a very big day last week against the Jets. Inside out pursuit to make that stop. Brings up a critical 3rd and 2.5 yards. That Cleveland defense getting tough down in the trenches.
Denver calls timeout. This game and this play of so much importance that Elway wants to make sure he's on the same track with his head coach. And doggone it, are they happy in Cleveland? We understand there were only 58 no-shows for this game today. 80,000 tickets sold and 58 people didn't make it.
You better believe that right now this Browns team is feeding off the emotion of this packed house. That's where the home field advantage serves you best, in particular after such a long and difficult game, fighting the elements as well as the opponent.
Now you go to Denver's side, and I'm sure that Dan Reeves is reminding Elway, yes, you got a long way to go, but you got a lot of time to do it. There's 4 minutes, 17 seconds left. You got 2 timeouts remaining, plus the 2-minute warning, and it's just to grind it out if you can.
It's a game of such dramatic highs and lows, and Dennis Smith, who has made so many big plays over the course of this season, right now thinking of one play, his coverage on Brian Brennan that allowed that touchdown.
Going to be very close. It appeared with that last effort that Winder may have gotten the necessary yardage for a first down.
It's all in the mark now. Close enough to measure. The Browns are saying it's not there. Hanford Dixon signaling over to the sideline. You're short by a yard, but I think they'll bring in the markers to measure it. 4 minutes 11. Wasn't it 4 minutes and 11 seconds to go last week that Kosar found himself 10 points down?
That's right. He was 10 points down with 2 minutes to go. But they got the ball at that 4-minute plus mark. It is Denver's ball for another 4 downs.
Well, they've done the first thing. The Broncos have done the first thing they had to do, which is to keep the drive alive. But you're a long ways away from that end zone. They need to get something going here. They need to get control back on the line of scrimmage. They need the kind of running that got them back into that game last week against New England.
First down and 88 yards to go. Boy, Winder hit a stone wall.
Anthony Griggs, number 53, one of the men there. He comes out of there with a handful of jersey. Or is that a towel? I guess it's a towel. Watch the hitting on the line of scrimmage as they bring Kenny Lanier, big dog, 76, into trap. And Anthony Griggs, number 53, met Sammy Winder right in the hole.
Winder didn't hit a Brown, he hit a Brown stone. 2nd and 7. 3:23 left. Elway's got some running room. and dives out to the 26-yard line. An 11-yard gain. Clock continues to run. Cleveland 20, Denver 13 on a dramatic 48-yard touchdown pass from Kosar to Brian Brennan.
We set it up at the beginning of the day. The pressure is on the quarterbacks, and here in this fourth quarter, Kosar has taken his team for the 7th. Elway now, 2 first downs in this drive, but a long ways to the end zone.
Sewell. Oh, how did he hang on to it? Steve Sewell at the 48-yard line. Chris Rockins made the tackle with 2:29 left. 22 yards on the play, and now Denver has itself in good field position.
One of the things that will help Denver on this drive is that the wind has died down here in the fourth quarter, and Elway is no longer throwing against that hard wind.
It's complete at the 40-yard line to Steve Watson. First down, Denver. 1. Marty Schottenheimer, his specialty defense. And he'll call upon his players to stop Denver. A first down, Broncos at the 40-yard line of Cleveland. This drive starting back at the Denver 2-yard line, and Dan Reeves' team had 5.5 minutes showing on the clock. Elway, with his arm and his legs, has moved Denver into position at the 40. 2 timeouts left. Denver trails by 7. This becomes then first down and 40 to go to tie. Joe Costanza, our statistician, indicating that 7 plays on this drive, 4 first downs. Going deep. And the closest man was Ray Ellis of the Browns. Vance Johnson was the target. .152 remain. Pazzulli. Timeout, Denver. Pazzulli's sack makes it third down, 18 for Denver.
Realistically, they'll take both downs. Elway knows if he can't get it all in this down, he's going to try and get at least a part of it and then go for it on 4th.
1 minute, 47 seconds left.
And again, you have to ask the question, Dick Enberg, how much has that ankle injury to Elway taken out of those quick feet? We've seen him escape so many times during this season from that kind of rush. But on that play with the blitz from the outside, Pazzulli, they call him Glacier. He only moves a couple of feet a year, able to make the stop inside.
Complete. to Clint Sampson, or Mark Jackson it was. Mark Jackson, who had a couple of drops earlier. Jackson has a first down. Clock is running.
Vic Watson in motion that time. The ball was snapped, actually hit Watson. Elway was lucky to get it.
That could have been disastrous. They'll just throw this one away so that they'll have time to collect their thoughts. So on 3rd and 18, Elway is able to drill a 25-yard pass to rookie Mark Jackson. And the drive and the hopes of Denver still alive.
Maybe we could go back and see that play. So close to disaster as that ball snapped in the shotgun. And Steve Watson, number 81, who'd come in motion. Watch him now as Watson goes across that ball off his hip. And Elway very quickly makes the adjustment and makes the big play downfield. What a critical play.
Well, that baseball training of Elway, those good quick hands, and then that rifle arm. 2nd and 10 at the 28. Screen to Sewell, has blockers. He's inside the 15-yard line. Didn't go out of bounds. Clock continues to run.
They'll quickly come to the line. A mistake, I think, by Sewell, who could have gotten out of bounds on that play to stop the clock. Elway's going to have to call it quickly here.
1 timeout left for Denver. Watson incomplete, covered by Minifield, trying to match up the tall Watson, 6'4", against the short Minifield, 5'9".
I think he actually caught that ball, but ended up out of bounds. A great catch, and you're absolutely right. Made it look like he was just going to try and throw the ball away. But watch him as they try and get the mismatch. Watson up, catches the football, but comes down out of bounds.
Cleveland 20, Denver 13. Final minute.
He'll run.
With all the photographers down at that end of the field, difficult to see the yard marker and the spot. But Elway alertly on 2nd down, getting out of bounds with 42 seconds left. Mike Johnson will be on his back as he leaves the field of play. Short of the first down at the 5, 3rd and 1. Touchdown, Mark Jackson. And now the pressure shifts to the bare foot of Rich Karlis to tie.
You put that load squarely on the shoulders of the big player in the big play situation. Elway leads the Broncos 98 yards to bring them within 1 point of tying this game.
Mark Jackson from Elway, culminating a 98-yard drive in 15 dramatic plays. And flags go down. It took Elway 5 minutes and 6 seconds to complete the drive of the game. 37 seconds remain for Kosar to get his team in field goal range.
A chance to watch that climatic play out of the shotgun. Look at the velocity on this ball by Elway. No chance to intercept that one. Low and away. And Vance Johnson goes down, or Jackson goes down. Mark Jackson goes down to pick that one up off the ground.
That's an interesting play, Bob Greasy, because he sent Jackson in motion, and he was going away, and then he cut back, as you can see, inside. And Elway, that was his primary target all the way.
Well, it did help him to get free of the tight man-to-man coverage. As you see Elway looking that way the entire time. What a great drive, Merlin. 98 yards, as you said.
Superb drive, and Elway has matched that touchdown by Kosar. At the far end of the field, the officials are meeting. Tom Jackson was involved in a melee down there just a few minutes ago, and they're trying to decide who did what down there.
Chuck Everling will make the announcement. Here he comes.
Let's go back and take a look at the touchdown right here. He's going to break to the inside as this receiver will clear out. Elway goes to him in the end zone. And a big play, a slant. They've been running it all day, but the good coverage has been there by the Browns. This time, Elway wins out. A big, big drive.
It was a double foul, and they wave it off. So the penalty flag, you can toss that away.
37 seconds, a similar situation to what Denver had right at the half when you saw Elway trying to work his way into field goal position. Much of it, of course, depending on what kind of foot Carlos can get into this ball. We mentioned that the winds have died down. Not hitting nearly as hard.
Cleveland can stop the clock twice. Going back to the drive, remember at 3rd and 2 back on the 12-yard line, Winder just made the first down, needed 2 and got 2 plus the length of the football. 3rd and 18. Elway was able to come up with a 25-yard pass to Jackson. And then finally the touchdown to Jackson to end that dramatic drive. And now Cleveland with a final minute chance. And they're going to get 5 yards on that kickoff.
If you had to choose one man to put back there to return this kickoff, the ice cube is not a bad choice on a day like today in particular, with bodies and muscles getting cold. His speed and acceleration particularly valuable.
Little guy caught 163 passes at Baylor, played in the USFL where Jim Kelly was his quarterback. Dallas 20, Houston 17, back in the American Football League days, the only overtime. Now Cleveland feels very much at home in overtime. Of course, last week's game against the Jets that they won in double overtime, but they had 2 other games during the regular year. Back-to-back, they beat Pittsburgh and Houston in overtime, and all 3 of the overtime wins came here at Cleveland Stadium. After the 5-yard penalty. And no time used. Down the middle to McNeil. Whoops. Whoops. McNeil at his own 4. And out of bounds at the 16-yard line. So just as Denver had trouble with Mosley's kickoff, Carlos able to cause some problems. And with 31 seconds left, will Kosar go for it here? Will Schottenheimer say, let's try to get 3? Or will he say, let's play it safe and go to overtime?
I think the one thing he'll do here is say, don't make any kind of mistake. Don't turn that ball over. Whether his decision is to go downfield or not, it's going to be with low-risk passes if that's the choice.
Bob Greasy, what do you think Schottenheimer will do?
Last week he kicked a field goal, and I agree with Merlin. I think what he's going to do is throw safe passes. You throw an interception here and you lose.
There's the safe pass to Fontenot. Simon Fletcher makes the tackle at the 19-yard line. And Cleveland spends its second timeout after a 4-yard gain. At the very start, the feeling was this was a dartboard game. Put Cleveland and Denver on the wall, blindfold yourself, throw a dart, and it might hit anywhere. And that's how it has proved to be. Difficult to separate these 2 teams. And while both quarterbacks had their moments of disappointment, when it came down to the 4th quarter drives that would decide the game, Bernie Kosar and John Elway stepped forward tall.
Maybe the secret, Dick, would be to tell them on each play, this is the last drive of the game. You've got to go and get the points. It's always intrigued me how great players seem to rise to the occasion. And that's what we've seen here today.
At At the end of the first quarter, it was Cleveland leading 7-0. Taking advantage of miscues, as you look at John Elway, Denver went ahead 10-7. But a field goal by Mosley at the end of the first half tied it at 10. Carlos kicked a short field goal to give Denver a 3-point lead to end the third period. Mosley tied it early in the fourth, and then a 48-yard pass from Kosar to Brennan gave Cleveland what appeared to be the winning touchdown, only to have Elway drive his team 98 yards to tie it. And now Cleveland says, we'll play you in overtime. We will stay here for the coin toss, which now becomes a critical non-player performance.
The overtime period in the playoffs.
Timeout, Denver, number 3.
Denver taking a timeout here, wanting to force in case, I guess, a bad snap is what they would hope for. The overtime periods in the playoffs different than we have during the regular season. It's like starting a new game.
And with that in mind, just looking ahead, that means that each team will have 3 timeouts starting the overtime period. And these are 2 teams more than familiar with that experience. But neither in a game where the stakes are so high. Rich Carlos. A little tough to swallow about this time.
But you've got to be glad if you're Rich Carlos that you're perfect on the day. On the other side, Mosley with the same kind of feelings.
I like both of them trying to act so casual. Final seconds now, and Cleveland with Denver having no timeouts left. This will be the Kosar kneel. And so the final seconds of regulation. And we'll stay here as Chuck Everling will call both captains out for the toss of the coin. And that then becomes important. What team has the advantage in overtime? The team that wins the toss or the team that loses? It's not as lopsided as you may think. The team that gets the ball first does win more often, but it isn't a lopsided advantage.
Well, it's certainly not so lopsided when defenses are playing as well as these 2 defenses are today.
The wind having died down late in the day makes this decision a rather obvious one. You win the toss, you take the ball.
I think particularly obvious the way the 2 quarterbacks have played on that last drive. You want them back on the field while they're still hot.
All right, we're going to do this again. You're going to call it loud and clear in the air, please. Head. He called a head. And it's a tail. Take the ball. Which way? Stand there. Stand over on this side. Over
The
on this
Browns
side.
will get the ball.
Cleveland, win the toss, will receive.
Denver will take the win. And Cleveland, with the advantage of getting the ball first, we'll be back after these words from your local station. Team to the Super Bowl. He'd be the youngest quarterback ever in the Super Bowl. And Elway, of course, at 26 is only 3 years older than the Cleveland player.
A slightly different picture than was faced last week. A lot of these fans with the Browns down by 10 points left the stadium last week. And about this time we're rushing back to get into their seats.
The championship games in overtime. The Colts beating the Giants in that classic game when Alec Amici scored for Baltimore, and the game called the greatest ever in the NFL. Then the Texans beating the Oilers in the '62 American Football League Championship. And today's game, the Browns and the Broncos. Bob Greasy, you were a quarterback. You played in that longest overtime game ever in Kansas City. Put yourself in these quarterback shoes.
Well, the pressure is all on the quarterback, Stick, because possession is not everything. It's field position, because if the quarterback throws an interception or drops the ball in a fumble and he's in his own territory, the game is over. So every play is so critical. Making first downs, you're not in a hurry to get anywhere. The clock does not come into play. The only thing that is critical is no turnovers and making first downs.
Meanwhile, you fans who are staying with us, of course, for the conclusion of this game, the NFC Championship game has begun. We will keep you immediately in tune of any developments at Giant Stadium. Carlos's kick is short to McNeil at the 15. And he is drilled at the 30-yard line by Ken Woodard. 15 yards on the return. Center stage, Bernie Kosar. Young man from the Youngstown, Ohio area, Boardman, Ohio, leading his Miami Hurricanes to the NCAA championship 3 years ago as a freshman. Now at 23, trying to get the Browns into their first Super Bowl. Looking for Ozzie Newsome. Couldn't find him, and Rulon Jones finds the quarterback again.
Great coverage by the Denver Bronco defense on that last play as Kosar looks left and right. He tried at one point to get the ball out to Ozzie, but Ozzie on the sideline just couldn't be seen. Looks like he kind of tucked himself in behind there as Dennis Smith was in the road between he and Kosar.
Gerald McNeil is in the game as a wide receiver. He is on the right side of the line. Little Gerald McNeil. First time we've seen him there. Could be a special play. He's going deep, but they throw underneath to Brennan. And he's out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
Dick, I think we're seeing McNeil in there because of that injury to Weathers. So they've got all their wide receivers on the field, and McNeil takes Weathers' place in the program.
The Giants, another franchise that has hungered for a Super Bowl experience. They've been away from the championship of the NFL longer than the Browns, whereas Washington and Denver at least has satisfied the palate of their fans recently. Cleveland and the Giants, it's been a long time coming. Big 3rd and 2. Fontenot wrapped up by Mecklenburg. Carl Mecklenburg.
He's short. Marty is going to play the odds here. Schottenheimer quickly sends his punting team onto the field, and Denver's defense responds with a big play on 3rd and 2, stopping Cleveland's run, forcing them to kick the ball.
Gerald Wilhite back inside the 20. Gossett's had a good day punting. This one is high, short. Wilhite, 21. And down at the 25, tackled by Felix Wright. 41-yard kick for Gossett. And now Denver and Elway have their opportunity in overtime. They'll talk about a lot of things tomorrow. One will be that great catch by Brennan that gave Cleveland the lead. Another will be Elway's drive of 98 yards. Another will be Denver scoring a touchdown when Cleveland had only 10 men on the field. Remember that back in the first half. Winder close to 5.
And of course that penalty that was called against the Browns when they were appearing to try and draw the Denver defense offside that Marty Schottenheimer was so upset about.
And instead of a first down, which Schottenheimer was looking for, they were penalized 5 yards and had to punt.
Denver going to the running game here. It's exactly as you said, Bob. They don't want to make the mistake. They want to control the football.
Mobley, a big catch for Mobley at the 50-yard line. And suddenly Elway's receivers are catching everything in sight.
Mobley came on late in the season. Denver has not really had a big pass-catching tight end since Riley Odoms. But Mobley has forced people to respect his ability to catch the football and then to run with it. That's a tough catch now inside Cleveland territory.
22 yards on the play. Winder using the straight arm, nevertheless loses 2 or 3 yards. Frank Minifield got him out of bounds. Rich Carlos, his longest field goal this year, as you can see, 51. That's his longest ever. Second and 13. Schottenheimer sends in Mark Harper. Oh, Sam Clancy was the Cleveland Brown player in the middle of that screen, and he, the ex-basketball player, almost rebounded one.
You saw the basketball player hit him exactly as he gathered himself to go up. Look how Elway has to loop it over the top, and still was able to put some touch on that ball. Almost caught by Steve Sewell, who could, I think, have made some yardage had he kept his hands on that one.
11:48 left in the first overtime. 20-20. He's got some running room, but elects to throw, and there's Watson at the 23-yard line. Steve Watson off a scramble by Elway, and Denver is in field goal range. 27 yards on the play.
Elway, and it appeared that he came to run on this one, suddenly stopped, spotted a receiver downfield, and made a perfect throw. It's amazing how well he throws the ball on the run.
It's amazing how well Elway has played in the last 2 drives. The 82-yard drive, the 98-yard drive, Dick. And now this drive, it seems as if his confidence is at the top of its game. We highlighted him early and say how they react under pressure. Elway is certainly under pressure these last 2 drives.
And timeout will be called by the Cleveland Browns. Denver with the ball. And the owners as well. Denver owner Patrick Bolin knew his team was in big difficulty late in that 4th period, down by a touchdown and pinned deep at its 2-yard line. And now it's the Broncos in position. At this point, should Dan Reeves elect for a field goal, which he is not, it would be a 39, 40-yard attempt. But what Elway's going to try to do is get Carlos closer.
Of course, Elway working with the wind. Clock does not matter in this situation. The first score, be it touchdown or field goal, will end this contest. How many times we've seen it today. Elway making big plays after there appeared to be no play, breaking out of that pocket.
Winder getting 5 more. And of course, Cleveland hoping that that one player can come up with that one critical hit and jar the ball free. Suddenly as quiet in Cleveland Stadium at this moment as it has been the entire game. Winder, good play made by the penetrating linebacker Clay Matthews to stop him at the 15.
Bob Golick, excuse me, Dick, also at the bottom of that stack, got a good shot at Winder's legs to spin him around.
3rd down, 3.5 to 4. Winder again, and he's just centering the ball for Carlos at the 15-yard line. This then will become About a 32-yard attempt, and it's all on the shoulders and the foot of Rich Karlis.
Of course, everyone last week thinking a sure field goal was going to take Cleveland out of that game early. Mosley missed what was an easy chip shot. I don't think Karlis is thinking about that right now. His concentration total as he prepares to try and end this game for the Broncos.
Game that brought out greatness on both sides ends on a 33-yard field goal by Rich Karlis. John Elway, and the Broncos are headed for Pasadena.
A day that had seen Elway frustrated through most of the early part of the game, and watched Cleveland really move the ball more effectively, came back when the pressure was on to make the big plays.
A couple of LSU teammates there, Lang and Fontenot. Yeah, let's look at that Denver bench as Reeves and company watch Karlis's kick, which just barely made it through. It was very close to hitting that left upright. And Dan Reeves follows his mentor, Tom Landry, takes his team to the Super Bowl, and there is the Denver locker room. Will also be going into the Cleveland locker room. It'll be interesting to get the comments of coaches and players. You come down to the most important game of the season prior to the Super Bowl, and it was deliciously close and so disappointingly tough for these Cleveland fans to digest.
It's tragic, Dick, that this last game will be the one that the Cleveland players will remember. Not the great victory last week, not the good things they did during this season, but this is the one that will stick in their minds.
George Young of the Giants said it, the farther you go in the playoffs, the deeper the wound when you lose. For the second time in their history, the Denver Broncos are in the Super Bowl. Time now for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. No surprise there. Today's Most Valuable Player, John Elway, the #1 player picked out of Stanford in that incredible 1983 draft. 22 for 38, 243 yards, and in the clutch, he led his team into overtime and then led them to an overtime 23-20 victory.
A week ago, by a score of 23-20 in overtime against the Jets, the Browns stayed alive. Today, on their home field, they die in this year's playoffs by the same score in overtime. Karlis from 33. The Broncos pull it out, and they go to the Super Bowl. This is the Budweiser NFL Report, brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. To everybody in the Mile High City, where they're feeling mile high right now. This Bud's for you. Hello again, everyone. Bob Costas with Don Shula and Paul McGuire. Just a personal thought. At halftime, Frank DeFord went through a series of issues, serious ones indeed, about what's wrong with football. You could spread it to other sports. Too often there's greed and there's dishonesty, and all too often we have it out of perspective. But then you think about what keeps drawing you back to sports. Drama like what we saw here today. A poignant scene, the shot of Art Modell, the round of applause, and a hearty one that these 80,000 disappointed though they were, gave to the Cleveland Browns just moments after the numbing defeat as they headed for their locker room, and players from both sides embracing, Marty Schottenheimer and Dan Reeves doing the same after the battle hard and cleanly fought. That, despite everything, is what keeps bringing us back to sports. Let's turn to Don Shula. Don, you have to hand it to the Broncos, a team that has not performed well on the road throughout this year. They come in here, and against this crowd, against a defense that had denied them a sustained touchdown drive all day, they go 98 yards on their final possession to tie it, and then they win it in OT.
Great football game. Elway, in that 98-yard drive, did everything that a guy like Elway is capable of doing. A great athlete that he is. He threw the ball with such force, drilled it in there when he had to drill it, scrambled when he had to scramble. On the one scramble, he laid it into Watson with a touch over the top of the defensive man, and he made all of the plays. Their defense held Cleveland in overtime, and then Elway again moved them in position for the field goal. Great football game.
Let's go to the Denver locker room right now. Ahmad Rashad is there. Ahmad?
All right, Bob Costas, the Denver Broncos are the AFC champions. And to present the trophy, Lamar Hunt, owner of the Kansas City Chiefs and president of the AFC, presents it to Pat Bowlen.
Thanks, Ahmed. 27 years ago, the AFL started, and right there from the first day were the Denver Broncos. And today they win their second AFC championship, and it's my great pride to present the championship trophy to Pat and Dan and the great fans of Denver.
You got to be happy, Mr. Bowlen.
Well, I can't tell you how emotional this is for me. You know, they never told me it was going to be like this when I came in the league. My heart goes out to Art Modell and the Cleveland Browns. You know, they played a heck of a game, and it could have gone either way. I'm sure glad we've got it, but my heart goes out to them.
All right, congratulations to you, sir, and good luck in the Super Bowl. Dan, you have been around so many football games, but have you ever been around a bigger, better